Hello, hi, welcome once again to M5's English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay, well let's learn English together. And hello again, people. Yes, it's that time again. It's time for our daily English session. Here in the afternoon on M5, the channel with the most. Okay, now do you all know what's special about today? Yes, I mean what's special about today, apart from the fact that it's Friday, the start of the weekend. Well, it will be the start of the weekend soon. No, today is special for another reason too. Yes, today is my birthday. That's right. Today, I'm 1 year older than I was last year. I'm 10 years older than I was 10 years ago. And I'm also 20 years older than I was 20 years ago. So, we start today's lesson with a reminder of comparisons. Do you remember the form we use when we're comparing two things? That's right, we use a comparative adjective, and then we use the word than to indicate what we're making a comparison with. So, we can say that I am older than my nephew Jack, for example. I'm using the comparative form of the adjective old, older, and then I use the word than to introduce the thing that I'm comparing myself to. I'm older than him. I'm older than Jack. I'm older than my nephew. Now, there was another way we learned, wasn't there? There was another way that we made comparisons, wasn't there? That's right, we can make comparisons in two different ways, can't we? One way, the first way, the way we've just seen, is when we use the comparative form of an adjective with the word than. I'm taller than you. You're younger than me. He's shorter than his sister. The other way we make comparisons is the as form. Do you remember this form as well? When we use this form, there's one very important difference, isn't there? Yes, that's right. When we make a comparison using the as form, we have to remember that we don't need the comparative adjective form. Now, for the as form, we use the base adjective. You're as tall as me. You're as old as I am. His sister's as short as he is. And remember that we can also decide how we want to end these sentences. We can use an object pronoun, me, him, her, for example, or we can use a subject pronoun and complete the sentence with a verb. I am, he is, she is. So, we have a choice. The choice is ours. Pick whichever one you fancy. Now, if you cast your minds back to when we looked at comparisons, then you'll also remember that we can also talk about things which are not the same using the as form. All we have to do, the only change we have to make is to add the word not. So, if we use the not as form, it means that we can make the same comparison in two ways. We can use a comparative adjective form, taller, smaller, more beautiful, more interesting, with than, or we can look at the comparison from the other side and use the not as form. We can say exactly the same thing. All we have to do is to be careful of the positive or negative nature of the comparison. If we use the as form, then we're saying that these things are equal. If we use a comparative adjective for them, then we're saying that these two things are not equal. That's all we have to be careful with, really. Obviously, if we're using the not as form, we can see straight away that we're not talking about things being the same. The fact that we're using the word not tells us, informs us, lets us know that this comparison is not about equal things. It's obvious. Okay, now where were we? Ah, yes, I remember. Last lesson, we looked at some of the language we heard in the conversation between Lizzie Benchfield and her brother Tim, didn't we? Yes, and there's still a couple of things that I want us to look at. There's still a couple of important things that we need to take a look at. So, we all remember the scene, don't we? The Benchfields were going shopping. It was all a bit stressful. It wasn't an average shopping trip. Initially, at the start of the shopping saga, there were problems with the shopping list, weren't there? Tim wasn't being cooperative. Tim didn't want to help the family. So finally, eventually, Alfredo abandoned the idea of making a list and told everyone to get into the car. Tim was still causing problems. Tim wasn't happy. He wanted to stay at home and watch TV. Anyway, Alfredo got all of the kids into the car and they set out for the supermarket. When they got to the supermarket, they all went inside. But then there was another problem, wasn't there? That's right, Alfredo forgot where he'd parked the car. Everyone knew that the car was in the car park, but nobody was paying enough attention to remember where they parked. Alfredo sent Tim out into the car park to find the car, didn't he? Then there was another problem, wasn't there? The family needed a trolley to put their shopping in, but Alfredo only had a 50p coin, and in this supermarket you need a £1 coin to get a trolley. Alfredo gave John a £5 note and told him to get some change, a £1 coin for the trolley. John went to the newsagents, but the newsagent wouldn't give him change. He had to buy something to break into the £5. So, John bought some chocolate, a soft drink and a fishing magazine for his dad. John got a trolley, but he spent almost all of the money and Alfredo wasn't happy. Then, Alfredo noticed that Tim was still outside in the car park. Tim was told to be back in 10 minutes, but he still hadn't come back. So, Alfredo asked Lizzie to go and fetch Tim. Alfredo asked Lizzie to go to the car park, find her brother and come back with him, bring him back into the supermarket. Alfredo told Lizzie to catch them up. Alfredo, John and Doreen went into the supermarket and Alfredo told Lizzie to come and find them in the supermarket after she fetched Tim from the car park. All right, now the conversation we heard between Lizzie and Tim, that's the conversation we're still looking at. We saw that Lizzie used the imperative form several times. She told Tim what to do. She ordered him to do things. Hurry up! Come on! Get a move on! Stand up! She also insulted him again. She called him thick. She told him that he was stupid. Now, there were two other words that I want us to have a look at. The first word is turnstile. Now, this is a lovely word because it's very logical. It's a style, but it turns. Great. I know, you're all sitting there, staring at the TV, wondering what, in the name of Gordon Ramsay's underpants, is a style? Well, a style is something you find in the country. A style is a set of steps someone builds over a fence or a wall. People can use a stile to climb over the fence or wall, but the animals in the field can't climb over the stile, so the animals can't get out of the field. It's the same idea as putting a ladder over a fence in the field. You and I can climb over the ladder and get into the next field, but cows and sheep, for example, can't climb ladders, so the cows and sheep can't get out of the field. Which means that when the farmer comes to take the cows and sheep home, they're all still there, in the field, waiting to go home for a cup of tea. If the cows and sheep learn how to climb over the stile, then when the farmer comes to collect the animals, the field will be empty. All the animals will leave the field and go for a walk into town to go to the cinema or to the pub or something like that. Okay, So that's a style, a very simple but very effective way to make sure that the animals stay in the field, but at the same time allowing people to come and go. Okay, now that's a style. And if we were to think of a synonym for style, then what would we think of? Yes, that's right. I think gait would be the closest synonym we could think of. I mean, it's not a perfect synonym, but it's close enough. Okay, now, stay with me. Think about the verb to turn. What does that suggest to you? Oh yes, that's right. There's an idea of movement, isn't there? That's right. When we turn, we move in a circular or semicircular way. If I'm driving and I turn the steering wheel, then the wheels of the car turn and the car changes direction. It starts to move in a circle. Okay, so the idea connected to turn is some sort of circular movement. Good. Now put the two ideas together and what do you get? A turnstile. Any ideas? Well, some sort of gate thing which moves, which turns. That's right. You used to get these things at football stadiums, didn't you? It's a sort of rotating gate which controls the speed of people who are going in. At football stadiums, it's not safe for everyone to try and get into the stadium at the same time. There are thousands of people, and if everyone tries to get in the door at the same time, there will be chaos. So, to make sure that this doesn't happen, at the entrance of the football stadium, or it could be another place, anywhere where a lot of people arrive at the same time and try to enter at the same time, it could be a metro station or a concert venue or, I don't know, anywhere where sometimes, suddenly, for a short period of time, there will be lots and lots of people trying to get in at the same time. We put turnstiles at the entrances to these places to ensure that people can only enter one at a time. It's a very effective way of controlling a crowd of people who are trying to get into a building. The turnstile means that only one person can move forward. One person goes through the turnstile and the people behind have to wait. Everything slows down and the people in the crowd have to move forward in a controlled manner, in a controlled way. The turnstile slows everything down. It calms the situation down. It makes everyone move forward in a slow, controlled manner. Think about the automatic passport machines that they have at some airports. They do the same thing. The machines only allow one person to move through at one time. After you have scanned your biometric passport in the scanner thing, a gate opens. You move forward and the gate closes behind you. Nobody else can move forward until the camera takes your picture. Then, and only then, the second gate opens and you can move forward. You can leave. And now, and only now, the next person can move up to the scanner and place their biometric passport on the scanner thing. Everything is controlled. The speed is reduced, and the passport people and the security staff have got time to watch everybody. Now, this is a modern turnstile sort of thing. It's not really a turnstile, I know, but that's because most cows and sheep don't travel across borders with passports. But here's what a turnstile traditionally looks like. This is what I remember from train stations and supermarkets from when I was a kid. And, of course, there were bigger versions which were more about security. It wasn't possible to jump over these turnstiles, so at football stadiums and concert venues, they often used these turnstiles. Oh! And on that note, it's time to go. Yes, our lesson for the day has come to an end, and it's time for me to go and have a shower, and possibly a shave. I've got to get ready for tonight. It's party time. Party time for old men. Good God. I'm 47. 47. Jesus, I'm really old. Oh well, never mind. I've still got my eyebrows, and that's a good thing. So, no crying over spilt milk for me. I'm 47 and there's nothing I can do about it. Not a sausage. So, no tears, eyebrows. All right, have a great weekend. Have fun. Enjoy yourselves. And if it's your birthday, happy birthday. I'll see you all on Monday. Have fun, and check out www.m5tv.hu. See you later. Bye.